All right, Anna, thank you for joining us from Moscow, Russia. How are you?
Daniel, thank you very much for inviting me and for me being here. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I hope that we can have more interactions in the future, in the nearest future.
Yes, me
I'm
too.
good. I'm good. How
Good.
about you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Yeah, so for when I published the interview with Nancy McWilliams when I first started podcasting, and Anna reached out to me shortly afterwards, and so we started emailing back and forth, and she published that video with Russian subtitles for her colleagues. And so, can you talk to us a little bit about why that video and supervision, what you're interested in? Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure, gladly, if it's interesting for people. Um, I'm a therapist. I've been a therapist since 2018, and
Hmm.
I started studying for supervision, and I have recently I've become a supervisor
Oh,
2 years ago. And
okay.
Nancy McWilliams is highly appreciated in Russia.
Hmm.
Her point of view on supervision is especially appreciated in
Hmm.
our community. I'm part of the Russian Psychotherapeutic League, the PPL, which is the largest Russian professional organization, and we are part of the EAP, European Association of Psychotherapists, the largest
Hmm.
European professional organization, and also the Asian Federation of Psychotherapists. And I'm not only the member of of this league, but also in the committee on supervision. I'm the curator and the person who advises on some development.
Oh,
I'm in
wow.
charge of social media and some other, let's say, PR and and small marketing tasks that we have in our professional organization.
Hmm.
And there are lots of teaching programs on supervision in our committee. Uh, and one of the main branch, let's put it like this, is um, the deeper psychology, the supervision
Ah,
from the point of view of deeper psychological approaches, like psychoanalysis, Jungian analysis, and Eric Erikson and TFP,
oh,
etc. That is
yeah.
why Nancy McWilliams is very much appreciated, especially in our context. So when I wanted to do something. Um, our social media is in the committee of supervision is quite professional, but I try to
Hmm.
find something very special, something unique. So when I found your video and your YouTube channel, I thought that
Hmm.
wow, this is a fantastic opportunity because I've bought from Amazon her latest book, the
Oh,
psychoanalytic supervision, and translated the first chapter, like not
oh,
officially, just
yeah.
in accordance with the law, like we are allowed less than 10%, right?
Ah,
just to give some idea on this upcoming book,
yeah.
and I thought that wow, that would be very interesting. But the Russian auto subtitles were so bad. I mean, not maybe so bad, but there were mistakes, like
Hmm.
not nice mistakes.
Oh, no.
To email you and ask you permission to edit them. And you were so helpful and so collaborative that at the end of the day, now this video is actually distributed not only through our social medias, but also the publishers' social media.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
the publisher from St. Petersburg who were translating Nancy McWilliams' latest book, The
Oh,
Psychoanalytic supervision. This lady, the representative of this publisher, is actually our subscriber and the friend of our head of the supervision committee, Inga Viktorovna Rumyantseva. Her name is Tamara, and I think that she forwarded and distributed your video through them as well. So,
Oh, wow.
small, and who translated Nancy's book? One of our teachers who teaches supervision uh, within our supervision committee, Vladimir Snegur. So this is a very tight
Wow. Very tight group, yeah. Wow. Um, I'm surprised by a lot of that. I'm surprised that you guys are interested in like the deeper approaches like psychoanalysis, and you said even like Jungian. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit. What is it that, before we get there, what is it that stands out about Nancy McWilliams' approach to supervision? What is it that's different than what you might learn or normally hear about?
It coincides with the approach that is Inga Viktorovna Rumyantseva and Denis Alexandrovich Fedoryaka. This is they are the authors of one approach to supervision, which is called, in English, it will be intermodality approach, or so it's like in between approaches. So this method of supervision is applied to any case, not depending on the approach in which the therapist works with a client.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this approach is supported by the president of the Russian Psychotherapy League, Viktor Viktorovich Makarov. He finds this approach as very fresh and workable, let's put it like this, because this approach suggests that a supervisor and a supervisee, sorry, I'm a bit anxious,
Oh, yeah.
they work like partners. It's not like hierarchical structure. No, they work like partners. And what Dr. McWilliams suggests is that we as supervisors should learn from our supervisee as well, and we should think about his or her world and structure, psychostructure, and etc., etc. For instance, how she discusses when the supervisor is in an artistic modality, is more like narcissistic, and his supervisee, a female hysterical girl, colleague.
Yeah.
So this kind of stuff, and this is very, very. This is what we find very useful to everyday supervision, because it does not, it's not like law enforcement style supervision. It's development supervision, and it's like when a supervisee and a supervisor meet, they make the whole third world. And it's so beautiful. And this is
that's a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I don't know if you've read her. She has a book called Psychoanalytic Diagnosis.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have it?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, that's when I was first introduced to personality styles and how the therapist's personality style and the client's personality style, that's going to impact the interaction, and you should pay attention to that, and so you know how to best help your client. And nobody in my school talks about that. it's, here's like you learn CBT or another approach, and it really doesn't matter what personality style you or your client has. And so I read that book and I was like, whoa, what a beautiful lens, a tool. And then, the psychoanalytic supervision, just like it's like, what a important way to understand your supervisee and yourself. Yeah.
True. Yes.
What is it that got you interested in supervision, in learning more about it?
2 years ago, when I first met my mentor and my supervisor in
Hmm.
Gurmantsova, which is also the head of the supervision committee in the PPL, she helped me a lot with my clients, with my narcissistic. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Narcissistic clients, and
Yeah.
um, after some time, after a few weeks of regular work, she suggested I become a supervisor.
Uh.
And I thought that she was crazy because I was, and I still am young.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that I did not have enough knowledge and experience to become a supervisor. But
Hmm.
she explained to me that I could learn,
Hmm.
and she saw something, the way I think, uh,
Hmm.
analytical way of thinking. Let's put it like this. She found that it's very good for a supervisor.
Hmm.
So she actually kind of pushed me into this sphere,
Uh-huh.
and after some time, I decided, all right. Uh, I did not intend to work as a supervisor, but I
Hmm.
decided just to learn, to enrich myself and my work with clients.
Hmm.
And also, I heard from her that I could do business supervision, and that is very interesting for me because from the beginning of my work, clients who come to me, the most widespread request to work
Hmm.
with me is to help them with some business issues, with
Oh.
their goals in business and finances, and or some crisis,
Hmm.
like crisis situations. And I know that businessmen, I've noticed for these years, during these years, I've noticed that businessmen, they do not tend to talk about their past, their childhood
Hmm.
experience. Um, they understand more and welcome more talking about activities
Hmm.
or behavior, not about emotions or their past. They prefer to
Yeah.
talk about future and um, nowadays
Very,
situations
very like
at present.
goal directed.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And supervision is the way how I can work better for them. So
Hmm.
supervision is a set of skills which demands from me so much knowledge. And I do not know, I don't even know if I ever learned all these piles of
Yeah.
books and everything. I'm really doing my best. I'm really trying to. Now, after 2 years, I see that I can do something.
Good.
Yes. And when I use supervision skills for them, and they don't need to know this, right? What I'm
Oh yeah.
using, therapeutical approach or supervision approach, it doesn't matter
Hmm.
because they have their requests. But I don't talk about past to understand their reality. I rather talk about nowadays, about present, and
Hmm.
I do a lot of thinking and I do a lot of analyzing in order to understand everything, their psychological defenses, their development, their personal style, everything.
Hmm.
And then I make something about it, and I provide something what Nancy McWilliams would call psychodynamic hypothesis, but for their business. I mean, for
Wow.
them as a personality, which will be applicable to their business and their goal.
Uh,
And we call it business supervision. Another way to
hmm.
call it is like psychoanalytical coaching, which is also widespread in the USA and Europe and
Oh, yeah.
also Russia nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, and this is what makes me uh, totally fascinated about supervision, because you don't have to ask about past, but still you can understand the person and help
Mm.
her.
That's so cool. I have very little experience or exposure to supervision or coaching or consultation. So it's really cool to hear, because I'm very interested in psychoanalysis. So it's really cool to hear your experience of applying that to coaching and supervision. Yeah, that's really neat.
And of course, only psychoanalytical, um, deeper psychological approaches are applicable in this kind of supervision, because otherwise we cannot understand the person
Mm. Hmm.
in the way how I described it.
Yeah.
Only Freud, Jung, Melanie Klein, Eric
Mm.
Erikson, these our fathers and mothers.
Yeah. Yeah. You,
One, sorry, Wilfred Bion as well,
oh, yeah.
especially for analyzing groups. This is very
Uh-huh.
helpful. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Is psychoanalysis and our fathers and mothers, are they popular in Russia? Or maybe that's too broad to say, but in your circle, I know they're popular in your circle. I don't know. For most, for people who want to study psychology in Russia or in Moscow, is it a popular theory?
Yes, psychoanalysis is quite popular.
Okay.
If we compare CBT with psychoanalysis, then psychoanalysis loses.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because a modern person would like to solve his or her issue fast,
Hmm.
immediately, as soon as possible, yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday. Yeah.
And of course, CBT approaches are more understandable for people. They
Hmm.
are less scary because they don't need to accept that, wow, there is a huge part of me which is unconscious and I have no power over it. Because this
Hmm.
is the most scary part. They can access, they understand their activity, their behavior, and okay, they will understand their emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
That's why, of course, psychoanalysis will lose
Hmm.
and is losing to CBT.
Hmm.
But no, there are still people who are very interested in psychoanalysis in both ways, to study it and to be clients in patients in psychoanalysis.
Hmm.
There are professional organizations which are still part of the international IPE, right? International Psychoanalysis, IPA, right?
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah.
organizations. And so they are interchanging experiences and knowledge and support each other as far as I know. There are special institutions, private institutions who who provide education in psychoanalysis, and there are governmental programs for psychoanalysis. And
Oh, wow.
the main institutions in Russia, they provide this kind of education. For instance, master's program in psychoanalysis, um, uh, unique, a totally unique and fantastic program, are provided by two huge governmental universities,
Hmm.
which are worldly accepted and admitted as one of, I think, 100 top 100 universities of the world, or one of top universities in the world. It's the MSU, Moscow State University.
Huh.
and the HSE, the highest school of economy. They also have a
Wow.
huge faculty of psychology, and they provide um, um, teaching
Hmm.
for on psychoanalysis and psychoanalytic coaching. By the way, there are so many interesting programs that
Yeah.
they provide, like cosmic psychology or conflict psychology. It's fantastic. It's so interesting.
Wow. That sounds awesome. It sounds very popular and a wide variety.
Yeah.
Yeah. How why did you go down the path of psychoanalysis versus the path of CBT?
Good question. I'm so sorry, colleagues, but I found that CBT doesn't work for me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I will explain. I will explain it.
Hmm.
I also have one of the approaches that I'm specialized in is DBT by Marsha Linehan. I love it,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Uh-huh.
part of CBT. It really helps me a lot because it's so easy to explain people, especially who
Hmm.
come at short-term therapy, how to change their emotional reactions, why they do need emotions, why they
Hmm.
do need fear, and everything. Marsha Linehan, I'm really fond of her. I was very um, honored and lucky to be one of the students in her DBT skills course
Oh.
because she was already retired. And I think
Oh.
that we were one of the last groups or something like that. Um,
You got to learn from
well,
her?
no, there were lots of recordings, but we
Uh-huh.
had access by reaching our questions and something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
That's
more
really
or
cool.
less.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason I felt such a connection that
Yeah.
that I really feel like I studied from her. It was very good course, even though most of it was recorded.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
And TPT, I love it a lot.
Uh,
But it helps only with some issues.
hmm.
And when I was a client, I went, first of all, I had a few years in phenomenological, let's put it like this, approach before
Hmm.
I became a therapist myself.
Hmm.
And it's more like a process oriented psychotherapy by Arnold Mindell, who has
Hmm.
recently passed away, unfortunately. I was also lucky to have to be supervised by him. It's a very different
Oh.
supervision, which Ernie, how he preferred to be called, provided, but still I had a chance uh, to study from him via supervision,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm a bit sad, of course,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. I
he
can tell.
passed away.
And that was
Uh,
very impactful for you, like his approach.
yes,
Yeah.
my first therapy as a client, I was depressed. It was 2014, and
Hmm.
I was depressed, and I approached one of the therapists in Moscow, and she worked in this direction, in this approach, and she helped me a lot. And
Hmm.
it was not real depression; it was only some symptoms of depression. That's why
Hmm.
after 1 month, I was already working and happy, quite happy at least.
Yeah.
And I got interested in my inner world, and I stayed in therapy with her in
Hmm.
this approach. And it helped me a lot to understand my inner world, that not only my uh, cognitive world exists, that there
Mm.
are some other levels inside me and outside of me that actually also must be considered at least when,
Yeah, yeah.
when analyzing a situation or making a decision. And then I decided it was finished, and I decided, well, why don't I try CBT, because it's so cool, and it was CBT and chemotherapy, which I
Okay.
actually really like chemotherapy. Maybe it was wrong choice of therapist, I don't know. But I had 33 hours of this approach, and
Mm.
it was not enough for me. This psychodynamic part, I really needed to discuss my feelings more and our relationships with
Mm.
my therapist. And she did not have proper knowledge and practice in it, so she
Mm.
couldn't. It was kind of, she couldn't cope with my emotions,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that it's not like it did not work for me. Maybe it's a wrong sentence. It's kind of, it was not enough for me. So
Hmm.
psychodynamic approaches like psychoanalysis, TFP are much more to my heart
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
CBT.
Yeah. I I was recently reading about psychoanalysis being considered like soul work, like
Mm-hmm.
psyche and the soul, and how it started off as more like soul work. And yeah, I love the emphasis. It's not just on, cognitions, emotions, behaviors. It's like, tell me your fantasies, tell me your dreams, tell me what you think about that you've never told anybody else. Like, tell me you, I want to understand you. I love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you are the world, and it's so
Mm.
interesting to get acquainted to your world, to this whole universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and so when you decided to go into therapy yourself, like become a therapist, what is the education like? What's the road to becoming a therapist? And yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. In Russia, there are two ways.
Mm.
The first way is from the governmental institution, governmental university, and it's called specialitet or specialty.
Oh.
It lasts for 6 years, and you cannot do it distantly. You have to come
Mm.
to lectures and seminars and etc. etc. So it's like a doctor, right?
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
not like a level, but like to become a. It's like a doctors. They also medical professions. They also study for 6 7 years and then internship.
Okay.
And then there is another way, which is the fast route. When you have a higher education, for instance, I used to be a teacher of English, like
Oh.
TESOL studies,
Mm.
and English and Chinese, but I forgot Chinese for practice.
Uh-huh.
And when you have a higher education, you can go to the private institution, and in less
Oh.
than a year, you can get special special skills and knowledge in being a counselor. So to work
Mm.
with people short terms and on some requests. And then you have to study for some approach and go deeper and deeper and deeper. So
Mm.
my way is the second way.
Mm.
Um, they say that soon it won't be possible in Russia to study the fast track.
Oh, really?
Only specialty, only 6 years. Yes,
Mm.
and only people with like doctors with 6 years of studying would be allowed to work as therapists. There is the same difference as in the USA between a therapist and psychologist. So, if you're a psychologist, it's more like academic, so you're
Yeah.
teaching or doing some research. And if you're a therapist or a counselor, we also call it like this. Literally, in Russia, from Russian language, it's called psychologist consultant, psycholog
Uh,
consultant, but it's as you guys say, therapist or
mm,
counselor. Um, um, these are people who are allowed officially to work with people. Government obliges us to have minimum of 50 hours of personal therapy and
oh,
minimum, I think, 100 hours of supervision.
okay.
So this is like obligatory in
Mm,
order to work with people, which is very good.
yeah. Yeah. I went to, like, after my bachelor's, I went to graduate school to become a clinical psychologist, and it's like 5 or 6 years altogether. And they don't require, most universities here do not require you to have your own personal therapy. They will recommend it. They will say it's a good thing, you should do it, but they don't require it. Yeah.
In Russia, it is required. Unfortunately, there are no, let's say, punishment for not having it. So people
Oh.
still can break these rules. But
Uh,
um, more or less, there are people who come to this profession are quite conscious. So
mhm.
they
Yeah.
try to follow these rules, these
Yeah.
regulations.
Yeah. That's good. I think that it should be required. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Here,
it is officially it is required, but it should be also, some
enforced.
and I think that they will do it.
Mm.
I hear some gossips from my senior colleagues
Uh,
who those people from the PPL that I'm talking about, vice presidents of the PPL, they are officially invited to the governmental meetings to discuss the law on psychotherapy in Russia and how it should be organized and the education on psychotherapy and etc. etc. So the government
oh, wow.
actually listens to real practitioners, to real
Wow.
people, and after that they are making some amends. So it's in the process, as far as I
Hmm.
can hear from my senior colleagues from the PPL.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I also think that is cool. It's better
Yeah.
than to listen to the governmental people who have no idea about the real world.
Yeah,
Psychotherapy.
exactly. So you did the fast track, which you said is about a year.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that year, you get basically licensed, and you can kind of, then it's all more like self-study, or you can go through other programs like to learn more about supervision or psychoanalysis or something like that.
To become accredited or certified, for instance, from our organization, then
Hmm.
you are obliged to provide special certificates. Actually, I can show you to them.
Yeah.
I I did not think about it before, but sorry, it's another file. Uh, I will show you. So we are
Okay.
obliged to provide uh, these international
Ah.
certificates. They are in two languages. I will show you. Um, for instance, like that. You see, they are in
Okay.
two
Yeah.
languages, and they are um, approved for personal therapy. Here it's 279 hours.
Oh.
Um, I haven't updated it yet, but it's okay. I'm now in the analysis, so I will do it in a few years, maybe. It's more than
Ah.
enough.
Yeah.
And these certificates are internationally accepted.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, in order to be accredited or certified, you have to provide, you must provide this. for personal therapy and for supervision. And for instance,
Okay.
this is one of the smallest thing for supervision, only for 3 hours, but it's just the fastest I could
Yeah.
find. It's also into languages, and they are widely accepted. You
Okay.
see, here is the title of the EAP. Yeah, sorry that I'm showing with my finger. European Association of Psychotherapists, the largest professional organization in Europe, and this is how it works. So this is why it's widely worldwide accepted. So in order to be accredited or certified, you have to provide these papers and also papers on your education, also official, like certificates for everything that you've done. They are counting all hours all together, and after that, you can be firstly accredited and then certified. So
Okay.
this is how it works.
Yeah. Okay. And how long does that process take? Is it kind of up to you and how quickly you get hours?
Well, mhm. I was lucky because I had therapy before I became
Oh yeah.
a therapist, so that's what I had. I just collected all the hours, and that's all. Supervision, of course, it will take some time. 100 hours of supervision, I think, will take around 1 year
Hmm.
um, of every week supervision.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think, yeah. And then total educational hours, it depends. Um, yeah, of course, it will take at least 1 year.
Hmm. Do
So,
you
yes,
do work in like a do you have your own private practice where you see people and then you get supervision?
yes, I have
Oh,
only
okay.
private practice. I don't work in
Huh,
some organization. I have
huh,
only private practice, and I work on Wednesdays. I work offline with my clients in Moscow, and I also work online with my clients from different countries, from 15 countries.
oh.
Um, Sometimes I work in English as well. For instance, I used to work with couples, um,
Oh wow.
and they were international couples. Mainly women were Russian speaking, and men were foreigners
Oh.
um, from Israel or from
Huh.
the USA, by the way. And this is how we work. But I stopped working with couples last summer, and now I'm focused only on working with business and delivering supervision for my colleagues.
Okay. Why did you decide to stop working with couples?
Um, it's not very interesting for me to discuss
Hmm.
their relationships, honestly. It's impossible. Sorry.
No,
But
that's thanks for being honest.
it's just not interesting for me. And I remember I've got some training from the USA as well, and
Hmm.
from Harvard as well, and they told us the first thing that you have to say to your couple is no no fights, and if you start fighting. Uh, I have a right to stand up from my seat and do this gesture, this breakup gesture. And in the worst case scenario, I will sit between you.
Oh wow.
And I was like, what? Will people do that? And yes, they did. I think every time. I mean, I did not have lots of couples work, but
Hmm.
those couples that came to me
Hmm.
were enough for me. Every time I
Yeah.
had to do the break gesture, maybe I'm very bad couple therapist. I don't know,
Oh no.
but
No,
it's
it's a whole yeah, it's a whole different ball game, a whole different type of work.
yes, for me it's much easier to work with business issues
Mm,
or um, personal issues, and even if business partners come, also couples therapy, but it's a completely different story.
yeah.
I never did a breakup just for them.
That's funny. I'm gonna have to use that. Next time I see a couple, I'm gonna have to let them know I can use.
Maybe it was wrong. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm really bad couples therapist. That's why.
I was curious. Do
Full
you
of questions. I tried my
yeah,
best.
yeah. I'm sure you did a fantastic job. Um,
Daniel.
I know maybe in your line of work, you deal more with businesses and supervision, like business and supervision. So you might not see this as much, but do you know the general, um, is there much religion and spirituality issues that get brought into therapy?
It's a very good question, Daniel. Thank you for this. I was when I was preparing today, and this was one of your questions, and it is, and I'll tell you the difference.
Hmm.
It's like a soul work. First of all, we have to know that there are almost 150 million people in Russia with more than 70 religious confessions. So
Oh,
it's lots of lots of different religions, and of
yeah.
course, here in Russia, all the main religions are represented. And I know that there are therapists who are um, therapists, and they have deep knowledge of their religion,
Hmm.
like Islam therapists or Jewish oriented therapists.
Hmm.
And I know that they are doing fantastic job. In Judaism, all right, there are rabbis who are actually doing some conflict job, and they are doing quite good job, as far as I know. But
Yeah.
still, there are Jewish-oriented psychologists as well, sorry, therapists as well.
Hmm.
And I know that, for instance, Islam therapists or Islam-oriented therapists, they are mainly female colleagues, and they are
Oh,
widespread in the Northern Caucasus.
okay.
And they are doing fantastic job for Islamic women.
Hmm.
This region in Russia is very different from other regions because of the religion, of course, because the
Hmm.
religion demands absolutely different things from people,
Yeah.
and uh, women are in a very different position
Hmm.
in the modern world. And they have to somehow cope with that, and still they have social medias where they see completely different life. So
Hmm.
I know that our colleagues, Islam-oriented therapists, they are really doing fantastic job.
Hmm.
Some people are very religious, and they are intentionally looking for a therapist who is oriented in some religion.
Hmm.
But also, what is more important, even if religious issues are not arised in therapy, even if we are talking about business, spiritual issues are
Hmm.
always.
Yeah.
And Russian people are very soul oriented,
Oh.
how people describe them usually. Very irrational. That's why irrational, because soul oriented. The soul is
Hmm.
uh, culturally is the main for us,
Oh.
uh, and it doesn't have any connection with religion. And in this sense, yes, lots of spiritual issues or spiritual questions are raised in therapy. And I think that nowadays, at least in Russia, therapy is your rabbi, or or your father.
Hmm.
Let's put it like this. I'm sorry. Um,
Okay.
I will switch off the emails. And also, I know from my superior colleagues
Hmm.
that there are some Orthodox fathers who actually come to therapy and supervision. But
Oh
it's a
wow.
but I mean it's not official, of course. But
Uh,
so it's kind of gossip, but you can
uh.
trust this gossip. So they
No,
had
that's neat.
yeah, that's actually cool that people from religion also come to supervision to find out something
Yeah.
about their relationships and
Yeah. That's really neat.
yeah.
Yeah, I at my university, it's I went to kind of like a Christian university, so
Oh,
they focused a lot on religion and spirituality, and we learned a little bit about if we were doing therapy with someone who is Muslim or someone who is Hindu or someone who is Christian. But there's a lot of research and people trying to psychologists and therapists trying to collaborate with like priests, clergy, pastors, rabbi, and so psychologists need to learn more about religion, and if they have a Christian patient or a Muslim patient, how can we help them? And then they're encouraging pastors to also learn a little bit about psychology, especially in America. I think um, in America there's a kind of a unique, in some ways, Christianity where it's more literal, and it's like, for instance, with evolution, a lot of Christians in America don't believe in evolution, or they think that that's against the Bible or something like that. And so they try to encourage more, psychology and scientific discourse. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. Yeah, I've heard that there are still people who do not believe that the Earth is round, for instance, or
Yeah, there's
in the
yeah.
evolution. I think that I'm not sure how these uh, directions are widespread in Russia. Honestly, I have
Hmm,
no idea. I've heard about them,
hmm,
but I have no idea how many of them are. And another reason why I like psychoanalysis or deeper
hmm,
approaches is that all those main books like the Bible or Torah, they are describing um, the myths that are very,
hmm,
very common to our psyche,
hmm.
like Cain and Abel, envy, and this is like being envied. That's all, and
Yeah.
this is fantastic. And people, and it's very these myths are very, very common to our psyche, and it's very easy to
Hmm,
talk to a person based on these myths
hmm,
and not being necessarily connected to the religion.
hmm.
And
That's
anyway,
common over.
yeah,
That's common in, maybe like in Moscow in Russia. It's common to bring up myths from the Bible or Torah to talk about in therapy.
yes, especially if, for instance, we are talking about dreams or
Hmm,
talking about some associations. Of
hmm,
course, we can, if it appears to be connected somehow or
yeah.
associated. Of course, we can explain something on this, and
Hmm,
people understand it very quickly. It's like
okay.
we're using it as myths or stories, or we can use also Greek mythology.
Hmm,
This is very good. It reminds me of um, one lecture that I have recently not participated in, but heard.
Mm.
um, this was from Rabbi, acting Rabbi. Yes, he is, I think, the acting rabbis by Goldstein. He has also his YouTube channel in Russian language.
Oh, okay.
He studied from the University by Adler in Chicago and also in
Oh.
Canada and, in many places.
Mm.
And he talks about religion and psychotherapy because he's also psychoanalytic, like
Ah.
working, acting psychoanalytic. And
Ah.
I was fascinated when I saw this lecture, and I forgot about everything, did something with my timetable, and just drove to listen to him. So
Ah.
he talked about Freud and how psychoanalysis is actually connected to Kabbalah. Kabbalah is the way of reading Torah.
Ah.
And actually, it makes sense because one of his arguments was that because Freud was born and raised in very religious environment
Mm.
before his parents moved to Vienna,
Mm.
they were actually they lived among Hasids. This is one of the most religious Jewish people,
Ah.
one of the direction in Judaism. So, of course, he kind of, and Kabbalah is the way how Jewish people read Torah. And for
Mm.
instance, how they read it, the same ways as psychoanalysis has. So, dreams,
Mm.
or asking why is this omitted, why is this written like this, why is this dot
Oh,
omitted, and
interesting.
this is extra dot when this letter doesn't need this dot. So he claims, and I really believed him, that, for instance, Freud was born and raised in these ideas of
Mm.
uh, these kinds of thinking.
Mm.
So when he started, Dr. Goldstein actually he claims that his first issues, Freud's first issues of dream work,
Mm.
um, as sources, he listed those Kabbalistic books. But after that,
Ah.
he removed them. And he tried
Ah.
to do everything so that nobody connects this to his theory to religion. But
Oh,
this
wow.
actually makes sense. So when we are born and raised in some kind of culture, of
Mm.
course, it's kind of in our mother's milk, the way
Mm.
how this culture thinks. And
Ah.
if, for instance, this culture thinks in analytical way, so I will apply this way of thinking to my theory. I think that this makes sense. So I
Yeah.
think that religion is much more connected to
Mm.
therapy than we usually think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard that. I've heard I found this book by his name is Sanford Drob. He is a forensic psychologist. He's Jewish and he lives in New York. And he wrote about Carl Jung and the Kabbalah. And he talked about how Jungian psychology comes from the Kabbalah. And um, I interviewed him as well. I
Oh,
don't think the Russian subtitles are very good. So, but uh,
I saw this video. I haven't watched it yet, but I've
oh, okay.
noticed it, and
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted to watch it. I was
That's,
very surprised. Yeah.
yeah, very interesting. And I know that I know in Jungian psychoanalysis, they say psychoanalysis and spirituality are one and the same thing. Like you can't do psychoanalysis without spirituality. It's all yeah connected. So very interesting.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
One of when the Soviet Union stopped functioning,
Hmm.
and the gates were open. Our colleagues in Russia and post-Soviet countries got access to many schools, and some
Hmm.
of the schools were actually adopted to, let's put it like this, post-Soviet or Russian-speaking mentality.
Oh.
Transactional analysis got its eastern branch of transactional analysis,
Hmm.
and this is adopted version for our countries. And
Hmm.
one of the ideas that is fundamental when adopting an approach is this spirituality, because spiritual issue is very important for our people.
Hmm.
Uh, the questions, the issues of soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Fundamental.
Hmm.
And, let's say in your city in Moscow,
Hmm.
do how how common would you say it is for do people feel like maybe they're culturally religious or like a cultural Christian or something like that, but they don't really believe in God anymore? Maybe they are agnostic, I don't know. Or do they tend to be more atheistic but spiritual? Do you know where people kind of lean?
Unfortunately, I do not have statistics, so
Yeah.
I would rely on the on my very subjective
Yeah.
opinion, if it's all
Yeah.
right for you, Daniel.
That's okay with me.
All right. I was very surprised how many people are quite religious,
Hmm.
and still they are. I was surprised only a few weeks ago
Hmm.
when I talked to my friend, and she showed me how many people come to um, Saturday service, Saturday
Oh.
evening service.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Oh.
I never thought that there would be so many people. Um, so I would say that my very subjective opinion is
Hmm.
that there are much more um, religious people than I used to think about.
Okay.
Um, Atheists and agnostics still are,
Yeah.
maybe not so widespread,
Hmm.
but all those people, all the people are not, how to say, they are not aggressively showing their faith.
Uh-huh.
If they are asked, they would reply. They are not.
Yeah.
They do not insist. They do not demand from other people. They basically kind of don't care what another person thinks of their faith, or um, in what he or she believes in. So
Yeah.
they are keeping their faith towards themselves. That's why I
Hmm.
was surprised,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
because it's not widespread um, in the
Yeah. In
in mass
conversation.
media, in conversations. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's no, it's not like that. Of
That
course,
makes
there is
sense.
a radio, religious radios or religious
Hmm.
channels. I think one religious channel, but still, I don't have full statistics.
Hmm.
Um, but it's all right. Everyone should have, right? Because it's a respect, but it's not aggressively showing off or
Yeah.
something like that. Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just curious. Sorry to catch you off guard.
No, it's okay.
um.
It's very interesting to answer questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Another catch you off guard moment. You
Okay.
said you recently attended a uh, was it a maybe not convention? I can't think of the word right now, but on envy. Is that
Seminar
what you
on
did?
Oh yeah, seminar on envy. Yeah.
A seminar on envy. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about it? What you learned? What you thought?
Oh. All right. This seminar is fantastic. It's based on works of on psychoanalytical works by Melanie Klein, especially, and because she has this envy and gratitude works. So my mentor and my supervisor, Inga Rumentseva, she is the author of this seminar. And she has studied deep approaches for many, many years. I don't even know how many. She's a beautiful woman. You will never tell that. She has such a huge experience. And you will see her when you come to our convention this autumn. She will be leading the section on supervision with your report. I hope that you will come, right?
Yes, I'll be there.
Yes, great. So you will see her. And she is the author of this seminar. And I think that she has been studying these issues of envy and gratitude and jealousy for 18, I think, years. Something like this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And she found some supervisional ways to work on these huge issues without analysis. This is why I like supervision.
Yeah.
She also started from Ernie, Arnold Mindel. And she also studied from Russian, quite famous Professor Ananyev. And she was called as shaman.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yes, like a wizard in psychotherapy. Because he did such a deep work that it looked as magic. It looked as magical.
That's what I want to do.
But it was not. There was no magic. He just knew the psyche of a person so well, and how to do everything so well that it looked magic.
Yeah.
So these seminars, I'm going the second year. This year was the second part, and next summer will be the third part.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic transformational training. And I've got some personal insights and professional insights. For instance, because you actually asked about my insights, right? First of all, there is nothing we can do about envy. So we can never finish with this issue, but we can learn how to work with our personal envy in such a way that it doesn't break our relationships and it doesn't break ourselves. And we can turn it into gratitude. This is a fantastic way.
Keep going. Tell me more about that.
All right. Inga said that the issue of being jealous actually can be worked on. And we can stop being jealous and feel jealousy at all. So this issue we can work on. The third issue, greedy, will be the topic of the next year.
Okay.
So actually, I have some written insights from this.
You said that you can turn envy into gratitude.
Yes.
And I remember Dr. Leslie Greenberg emotion focused therapy.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote I think his most recent book was, I forget the title, but the subtitle is Replacing Emotion with Emotion. And he talks about taking an emotion like envy, and then you can't really do away with an emotion, but you can change it with another emotion. You have to replace it with something. So yeah, replace one emotion like envy with the emotion of gratitude. That stood out to me.
Yes, Marshallini
Huh.
can also teaches us how to replace one emotion with another if
Uh,
it's fact based. So, for instance, there is also a way how to turn envy into another emotion. Um, uh, and it also works
hmm,
very well, but it's like more, situational.
hmm,
And envy is most of envy is not emotion, just a
hmm,
shortcoming emotion or a feeling. It's more like a subconscious impulse,
uh,
and this impulse we can never get rid of. This
uh,
impulse is what Melanie Klein teaches us about. She says that an infant is always feels envy as this impulse, and it's
hmm,
destructive impulse. And the infant feels this impulse to one of the mother's breasts. So one
hmm,
breast becomes good and one breast becomes bad.
hmm,
And the infant always feels this envy, impulse of enviness, because the good breast has everything the infant needs, never-ending milk. And I, as an infant, don't have
hmm,
it. So
hmm,
I envy my mom
hmm,
that I have it. It's such an interesting topic because
uh,
envy also, as an impulse, a subconscious impulse, uh, exists in mother as well, especially
hmm,
in mothers of female infants, of
hmm.
girls. This is very very interesting, and that's why because this is not just an emotion. Most of the time,
I
we don't
see.
even consciously feel that we envy someone or something.
Hmm.
Um,
Why did you say that? What is it about mothers of female infants that maybe
mhm.
especially feel envy?
Because there is the whole life in front of this small girl,
Uh, uh,
and she has already had her opportunities used, and maybe not in the best way.
hmm,
Sometimes because the mother sees how maybe the mother did not have this experience of fatherly love towards
hmm,
her, and when she's a good woman and she finds a good father to her baby girl, and
hmm,
this father actually loves their baby girl, she envies her because she did
yeah.
not have it. She lacked
Uh,
it.
that's so
Also
sad.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different ways. Yeah. I
That's
found
so interesting.
so sorry.
Sorry, I just real quick. I've never read any of Melanie Klein's work, so I know very little about. I know a little. I know like terms like the schizoid and the. There's like a gradient. I forget. There's like three stages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I need to do more reading of Melanie Klein. So this is interesting to
Me
me.
too. Me too. It's so interesting. For instance, your child psychoanalysis is fantastic, but I still haven't finished this book because it's so deep for me. I can read.
Hmm.
By the way, I'm reading it in English.
Wow.
Some
Yeah.
of the books I intentionally read in English so that I could understand it better.
Oh
Because
wow.
if they are written in English. So
Yeah.
I'm reading like a small sentence, and then I
Huh.
can I
Yeah.
can live a few days just thinking over this sentence. So this is so
Hmm.
deep for me. Fantastic works.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Wow, that's impressive.
Mhm.
I wish that I could read and understand German because I'm currently reading through like all of Freud's works. I just
Wow.
yeah, and but I'm reading it in English, and I know that there's a lot of translation issues, so I wish I could do that. Maybe one day I'll teach myself. But you said you found the notes?
Yes, especially by the way, with the
Hmm.
translation, Dr. Gladstein, oh, sorry, Gladstein, sorry, I forgot his name.
Uh-huh.
I'm so sorry, doctor. I hope that he will forgive me. Anyway, he says that, yes, one of the main um, translation issues from German to English was
Hmm.
in the way how the psyche is structured. So,
Uh,
um, um, he explained us that I have my notes here. I think yes. Um, he explained das S and um, id
uh,
or ano in Russian. This is a bit different. And then
hmm.
in English, in German, it's he explained as das über ich,
Hmm.
like Sverhya, um,
Hmm.
um,
Like
Superego. Sorry, I
above
forgot
I.
the map.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
good.
Super
Yeah.
ego, right? It's so easy. It's also a kind of mistake in translation.
Yeah, I've heard that in German, Freud used words like I, ego
Das
was
ich.
I.
Yes, das ich. Yes.
And it's very personal. It's very, you resonate with it. It's one of the first words you learn. Um, and then das über ich was above I. And then, yeah, das ich was id, what it.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
it. And and when they translated that into French, it's also like the very personal. But when it's in English, here's some Latin, and it's very detached and just a
Mhm.
very different feeling to it. Yeah,
Exactly. Yes, yes, this is
yeah,
the correct way. Das ich, I, not ego.
mm,
Yeah, so this is where
yeah.
we go. This is the
Yeah.
difference. Yes. Yeah, I studied a bit German in school,
Oh,
uh, and I also like this language a lot, and I hope that someday I
uh,
will keep learning it.
yeah, yeah.
I know on the A1 level.
Yeah.
Anyway, about envy, I found
Mm,
my some insights, some notes,
mm.
five insights. Um, I'll try to translate them in Russian.
Okay.
That I don't have is that I envy.
Mm,
So this is the first insight. The second insight is that envy doesn't have anything in common with my personal qualities. This is
mm.
unconscious impulse. Everyone has this impulse. Am I ready to agree with this? The third one, envy does not fulfill my wishes.
Mm,
If I envy someone or something, like, oh, I want it as well, I want to do the same. And if I think that I will go and just do it, no, it will not be possible
mm,
because wishes that are coming from envy will be destroyed subconsciously.
mm. Very interesting.
Yeah, so something that really interesting. And then the one that I already mentioned, envy impulses, we never work on them. I mean, we work on them, but we never finish working with them.
Mm,
And jealousy, yes, we can be free of it. We work on it. And the final one is to change something means undergo something.
To change something means to undergo something.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, which usually involves discomfort, which people hate. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is about psychodynamic approaches. You have to
Yes.
undergo something, not just understand.
Yes. Yeah. Anna, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Mm. Great question, Daniel. Thank you. I hope that I have enough resources and health and everything other to make this happen. Um, I will become a master's in psychoanalysis.
Hmm.
I will. I hope so. I will. I will be working into languages
Hmm.
and somehow be a bridge in between languages and cultures and nations, so that we have less and less conflicts, or uh, more and more cultural ways of solving conflicts,
Hmm.
or psychological ways. I
Yeah.
hope so. And I hope that I will be able to apply my psychological and supervisional knowledge to um, solving conflicts
Hmm.
in companies, or who knows, maybe not in maybe in 10 years, yeah, between nations. This is how Arnold Mandel also developed his the world work
Huh.
to do this to solve racial and some other conflicts. So I hope that I will make my small input in this field,
Hmm.
so that hopefully the world will become a bit nicer and more peaceful place. Or if not, at least in some on some organizational levels, do the same.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Through working with people, and personally get married, have children, and build a happy family.
Hmm. Yeah. No, those are all very worthwhile. And I think, what was you said you had a mentor who encouraged you to do supervision, and you thought, I can't do this. What was that mentor's name?
The same, Inga Rumiantseva. Inga.
Yeah. I think I understand why she has so much faith in you. And I think that's,
Really?
yeah, yeah, no, I think, yeah, that's
Oh,
very good. And
so touching. Thank you.
I look forward to, yeah, staying in contact with you and seeing all of the things that you're going to be doing and the ways you're going to impact the field. And I love the piece. I love the heart behind you wanting to be a bridge. I think that that's very needed, and especially from somebody like you.
It's very
Yeah.
touching. I'm about to cry. Thank you.
Yeah.
From the very deep of my heart. Thank you. Thank you
Last
very
question.
much. Okay.
Your YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
What got you decided to start a YouTube channel? What is it on? And I will link a description in this video. But yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and how that process has gone?
Oh, thank you. I have a connection to two YouTube channels, my personal one and the Committee on Supervision.
Hmm.
And my personal one I have just started. There is only
Huh.
one video, and I discussed there how Roy Kroc, the founder of the McDonald's, why he succeeded only after his 50s. I tried
Ah.
to do a supervision on this answering this question.
Oh,
And
cool.
our committee's channel is quite interesting, I think.
Hmm.
So we are doing movie supervisions. So we watch a movie and we make a supervision on the heroes and the movie, and it's quite
Uh,
interesting. And uh, we are talking about Molly Bloom, which is based on real story. We even bought a book from her. First we watched the movie and then we were so um, um, fascinated by her story. We didn't understand it fully, so we bought her book in Russian
ah,
and we read it and supervised it. So we're really focused on this kind of books.
yeah. Wow, cool. Is that
And
who you told me about in the email? She was
yes,
the,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Fascinating.
And also, yeah, I will show you. It's here. Here is your book in Russian. These are my notes.
Wow. Wow.
Trying to supervise that movie and this book. This lady.
Wow.
Another interesting, maybe hopefully interesting part of our YouTube channel is we are talking on Beyond's supervision. So I
Oh,
found transcriptions of Wilfred Beyond's supervision, which he made, which he delivered in Brazil, in Argentina, etc.
oh.
And I'm translating them to a few colleagues only. We're not distributing it, of course,
Hmm.
so that they could understand what was there. And
Hmm.
then we discuss it in the videos. The way he led his supervisions, the way how he thought, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And also we have some free lessons from our teachers on supervision and reports from our conventions, from conferences, from our
Oh,
very respected uh, teachers of supervision who some of them do their own research work, and it's very interesting to hear from them their results. So this is our
yeah.
YouTube channel, and we're very welcome to. I was thinking about doing this in August to part of my small contribution being a bridge
Uh-huh.
is to, and Inga supports this idea to reload all the videos with English auto subtitles, maybe to correct some of them, and
Oh,
also all the titles in English. Because
oh,
they're very, some of the videos are quite interesting about
yeah.
movies, about Wilfred Bion, and maybe it could be interesting. And uh, this year we're starting having more and more foreign professors on our conferences, and
Hmm.
um, this will be our input
Yeah.
in the professional community. Uh, the more the world tries to separate us, the more uh, we would like to be connected.
Yeah. No. Good. No, congratulations on that. And I think, yeah, I think that's all very interesting. I love the idea that you guys discuss and like analyze movies and talk about it from a supervision lens. And yeah, that's super cool. I'm gonna check more of them out, and I'll link it in the description, like I said, yeah, so people can find it.
Thank you, Daniel. Can I answer one of your questions that were on your list?
Oh yeah, yeah. Please, I'm sorry. I.
No, no, it's okay. Because you were asking in your city, what does the general population think of therapy? Are they open to it?
Yes, yes.
Maybe you could just, put it somewhere in the middle or something.
Yeah.
When I was getting ready today, I found that it's much more popular than I'm thinking, because I don't think about these questions every day. I just do my job.
Yeah.
And when answering your questions, I started analyzing, and
Hmm.
actually, it's much more widespread than um, I would I would even think a few years
Oh,
ago.
really?
Yes, psychology on its own, psychology on the whole.
Hmm.
There is a difference between large cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, and small towns and villages. So
Hmm.
people in small towns and villages, it's quite common to have this misconception. Let's put it like post-Soviet misconception that
Hmm.
when you go to a psychologist or to a therapist, you're crazy. It's
Uh,
connected. It's connected. This misconception still exists
hmm.
because in the Soviet times, um, psychology was mainly developed in medical context, in
Hmm.
psychiatrical context, connected to neurophysiology and uh, neurosciences,
Hmm.
and also reflexes and physiology itself. So the people they used to think that therapists are only good for those who are crazy.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
they and only crazy people needs them. So this misconception still lives in people's minds, but
Hmm.
mostly in small towns and villages. In
Hmm.
large cities, and there are lots of them in Russia, it's not like that. People more and more use psychology in its different ways.
Hmm.
For instance, I have a supervisee who works in one of the organization who provides therapy um, um, as a necessary, like usual foundational insurance. So, for
Uh,
instance, if a person works somewhere, if he or she is employed, then he or she has this. It's called DMS. This kind of insurance,
hmm.
and this person can use therapy and not pay for this.
Oh, great.
Uh, Another thing is that we have lots of free toll numbers and free volunteers and special psychological services, which work
Hmm.
under supervision. For instance, I'm as a Moscow citizen um, have access to one special line. It's totally free. It's professional psychological help. I can
Oh.
use it once a day for 30 minutes for
Oh,
free.
wow.
And you know, Daniel, once I really used it because first
Yeah.
of all, I decided to try it, and secondly, I
Uh-huh.
really needed some help because I was in between my therapies and I really
Uh-huh.
needed some help. So I
Was
called
it
them.
good?
It
Hmm.
was fantastic. I
Really?
was so impressed.
Huh.
I was so impressed, genuinely impressed. The girl did fantastic job.
Wow.
Since then,
Huh.
I always tell on my personal social media, money if money is an issue, forget about it. You have this
Hmm.
phone number, call it. They are
Hmm.
fantastic, and so I can use this fantastic help totally for free for 30 minutes every day. And
Wow.
these kind of numbers they exist for different populations, like
Hmm.
students, separate number, Moscow
Hmm.
citizens, separate number, another city, separate number, and so on and so forth. For families of combats, separate number. Really fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, Also, more and more organizations um, use psychological help. They have a special position as occupational psychologist or the person psychologist in HR, and
Hmm.
moreover, over corporate psychologist.
Oh,
So,
wow.
if I work in some bank, for instance, there is I have my own office. If I'm as a psychologist, as a therapist, work there, and every employee can come and talk to me about their issue. Doesn't matter, work, personal, anything.
Wow.
And there are lots of these positions nowadays in organizations. So more and more people are using this. People use social psychology. People use organizational psychology, psychoanalytic coaching, different types of psychology, not only therapy in
Mm,
Russia. And post-Soviet countries, at least these countries like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia, Belarus, Ukraine, they also use so many uh, psychology in so many ways and
mm.
therapy as well. It's like the demand is higher than the offer,
Oh, wow.
according to the digits.
And it sounds like the offer is very high. Like the amount of like having a therapist or psychologist within an organization or a bank or something like that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
unheard of here.
and successful people, how they call themselves, successful people or people
Hmm,
with money, they officially and very open say on their social medias that every rich person has to have their own therapist.
hmm,
Firstly, work on your mindset and then work on your business skills. This is like the
hmm.
usual, the usual, in, how to say, informational focus on their social medias or something like this. And
Oh, wow.
it's interesting. And an entrepreneur saying like this on their social media, and it's less and less scary for people. And
Hmm, hmm.
more and more people say but in large cities again.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there are lots of
I
that still.
yeah. In America, it is very it's still very medicalized. And I remember so reading about like psychoanalysis coming to America. Um, they tried to in America they tried to make it a rule that if you were going to practice psychoanalysis, you had to be a medical doctor. And then Freud wrote a piece on that called The Question of Lay Analysis, and he was saying you don't need to be a medical doctor. And but it's still very much like the DSM, you have things like depression, anxiety, all that. It's all labeled like a mental disorder or a mental illness. And a lot of times it's treated with medications. So it's still very much associated with medicine, and there's something wrong with you if you feel this way. And so I like the idea of pushing toward a different mindset in America where you can go see a therapist, you can go see an analyst, you can go see a psychologist, and it doesn't mean that you have a medical disorder, it doesn't mean that you have a mental illness, it just means that you're a human and that you have struggles and you're looking for someone to help you through those times and to figure out how to live your life in a way that makes that less likely, like so I think it's still very prevalent here in America, even in cities. But the younger generation, I think maybe people in their 20s at the moment, they're a lot more um, they're a lot more open to the idea of having a therapist and talking about having a therapist. And just because you have a therapist, it doesn't mean that you're crazy or that there's something wrong with you. They're a lot more open to that idea. So that's encouraging. Yeah.
Yes, that's encouraging. And there is nothing wrong with some medical help because sometimes we
No.
really need to go to ask a person to go to a psychiatrist and to use some medications. And
Yeah.
in Russia, people are still scared of going to psychiatrists
Hmm.
because in the Soviet times it was a completely different story, and people could be. Um, could be put in a clinic without their agreement. Nowadays,
Hmm.
it's a completely different story, and we have to do lots of informational work on these issues
Mm.
in Russia as well, because so that people um, do not if do not be frightened of going to psychiatrist, because sometimes it's such a relief when a person just knows that, oh, it's just a disease that can be treated by these
Yeah.
medications. It's
Yeah.
not like the end of the world. And we have lots of issues as well in Russia, of course, and they are more like uh, from the professional point of view, not maybe from the client's point of view.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, like sometimes it could be so much easier if everyone is obliged to go to supervision. It would be so much better. Or
Yeah.
to personal therapy. But it's from our point of view, right? Not from the client's point of view. Sometimes they're getting help from a person who has never been in therapy, only because this person is very, very motivated in being a provider of help.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, thank you for clarifying that. I didn't mean to make it sound in any way bad that someone might need to go see a psychiatrist and get medication or help for a medical issue. I think that there's a fine balance. I think a lot of times it is a disease, it is a medical issue that you need to get help for. And then other times it's a human struggle, it's like a soul problem, and they feel like they cannot go because for some people, it's a relief to hear that they have a disease that it can be treated. For other people, they don't want to go hear that they have a disease, and so it keeps them from. I don't know. It's a very complicated issue. Yeah, yeah. You
it
know.
is, it is. And
Yeah.
if we remember Grotstein, James Grotstein, now is the
Hmm.
period of uh, um, borderline,
Uh,
borderline period of time. So
uh,
more and more people are on this stage, on this level of organization, and
hmm,
of course it affects everyone.
hmm,
And what I also noticed is because I'm subscribed to some American colleagues
hmm.
in some social medias, and I've noticed the same as in Russia, as in the USA, that people, common people, not professionals, common people, when they learn some term,
Oh yeah.
some title, they'll be using it. Oh, you are narcissist. Oh, you are in this kind of relationships. Or you are in abusive relationships. Oh, you are abusing me. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I read their posts, not colleagues, but usual people, when they're
Yeah.
overusing these terms. They don't even know what this means, but they heard something, read something, or they went to 1 or 2 hours of counseling, and for some reason they understood.
Hmm.
People are overusing it, and uh, also these kind of, because of this labeling, people could feel some kind of restriction in going
Hmm.
to a professional, because, oh,
Uh-huh.
what will my friends think of me, how will I tell my family if this is true, and they start
Uh-huh.
to study checklists. Oh, okay, I'm a narcissistic, I'm in this kind of relationship, I'm an abuser. Oh my goodness, no, please
Hmm. Yeah.
be reasonable.
Okay, Anna, I think we'll have to end here. I want to say that I really appreciate you joining me. I'm glad that we were finally able to make this conversation happen. Yeah, it's been a wonderful conversation. I've learned a lot, so thank you very much for that.
Daniel, thank you so much for having me here, and for it's such an honor for me to talk to you about Russia and psychotherapy and different approaches, and learn more about you. And I enjoyed it a lot and learned a
Hmm.
lot from you. And I hope to see you on our international conference is